here a couple stories where Donald Trump is going to apparently sign an executive order to enforce the global arms embargo against Iran. This is something that we again have talked about on the show, that there's this arms embargo against Iran that was passed by 2000 in 2007 by the UN, that prevented any countries from selling weapons to the Iranians. Well, now that is set to expire by the rules of the JCPOA, which the Iranians have abided by. And so the UN is prepared to lift the arms embargo. But the Trump administration played their hand really poorly with the JCPOA and now says that the arms embargo has been extended, even though the UN and even U.S. allies, the UK, France, and Germany, all say that the arms embargo isn't extended. The U.S. says that it is. And this to me is like one of the more Trumpian stories. This is kind of the thing that when he was running for president, you actually heard like liberals talking about is that, oh, he's just going to be a bully in diplomacy. Well, this is like bullying the entire UN with diplomacy by saying that, yeah, we're not going to listen to what the UNSC says. We're just going to go about our own thing and extend this arms embargo. Did it come across that brazen and just crazy to you?
Yeah, man, I think it's even worse too. I think they're even saying that all of the snapback sanctions as of Saturday, I think they're claiming that they're now back in force along with this arms embargo. So like they're really going far with this. I mean, there is sort of a distinction because at least with the arms embargo, there was a vote in the UN Security Council and it got completely shot down. So it's funny now that they're just turning around saying, "Nuh-uh, like actually the arms embargo will be extended, like regardless of the vote." So that's real outrageous. With the sanctions, though, the U.S. tried to bring that to the Security Council, and they just refused to even bring that to a vote. There was just such a unanimous opposition to it that like they didn't even bother voting on it. So I guess the U.S. has a little bit better of a case that like, hey, like they didn't even hold a vote on it, and like we're saying that the sanctions are back in force. But that is what they're arguing, that as of Saturday, that like the arms embargo and the sanctions are all now what they call the so-called snapback sanctions are now reimposed on the Iranians. And these are pretty serious sanctions, I think, too. Like if they were to be like enforced and if Iran were to try to comply with them, I think they actually ban them from doing most things with uranium enrichment. Like, so that would mostly shut down their entire nuclear energy program were they to comply with it. However, the thing is, though, like I'm saying, all like most of the UN Security Council and all of the other parties to the Iran nuclear deal, the UK, France, Germany, Russia, and China, they're all just saying that like no, like the U.S. has no legal standing in this, and that they can't bring back this arms embargo, that they can't extend it, and that they cannot just unilaterally invoke the snapback sanctions. So try as the U.S. will and claim as they will that like these things are back in force, like it kind of in practice won't be unless they can get the rest of the world to go along with it. And so far, it looks like most of the UN Security Council, like 13 out of 15 members, as well as all the other parties to the Iran deal, they're not going along with this. So it's kind of interesting to see like how the U.S. will proceed here. Again, like the reality of the situation, like I don't know, in practice, the sanctions will not be enforced if the rest of the world is not enforcing them. So the U.S. could like threaten to punish other countries with sanctions. That's what the Trump administration's already said he's going to do that with the arms embargo. They're going to sign an executive order that will let him sanction third countries. But honestly, I can't see the U.S. like sanctioning the UK, France, and Germany for not complying with these sanctions. They might do that to Russia and China, but like not to the Europe 3, the E3 they call them. I can't really see that happening. So there's only so much arm twisting the U.S. can do here.
Right. So, I just had a couple thoughts on it. One was that my first thought too was that, yeah, we're not going to sanction the UK, but how much, I guess, are maybe UK banks or companies going to worry about facilitating any kind of trade to the Iranians, worry about
Right.
running afoul of US sanctions? Let's say, you have a company, you're trying to get some, PPE or ventilators into Iran or something like that, and you're the bank that facilitates that transaction to make that happen. Well, now if those become dual use items or something like that, and you get sanctioned by the U.S., that's devastating to business. So
Right.
maybe it's not going to actually change the behavior of a country's government, but I wonder how much is going to change the behavior of independent business. So I don't know if you have anything on that, Will.
No, no, I think we mostly hit on that. It's just it is outrageous how the U.S. claims to have legal standing here. We've been out of the deal for like 2 years now. They unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA, but the U.S. is just now trying to like invoke this tricky legal argument that like no, technically under the UN resolution, like our name's still on that. So like they're saying technically we're still a party to that, but the rest of the world is not really buying that. So that's I think really what matters here.
Yeah. And then just before I moved on, I want to take 1 second to explain that while Iran had, there were like provisions in the JCPOA, the nuclear deal, that said, Iran wasn't supposed to enrich uranium up to, I think, above like 3 point something percent. And they weren't supposed to hold a certain amount of like in weight of enriched uranium. However, the deal specified that, let's say, the US, the UK, France, Germany, whoever decided that they didn't want to be in the deal anymore and reimpose sanctions on Iran, Iran would then be able to back away from some of those different things that they were willing to give up. And so that's what's happened. The Iranians have acted within the deal. And for the most part, even our European allies have reflected this by, their votes and stuff like that. At one time, remember, Will, there was at least a report that Trump was willing to like sanction their auto industry over them not pressing snapback sanctions against the Iranians at the UN and stuff like that. So
Right.
Trump has been very serious about this, and I imagine that this is not going to go well for him, but that we'll be talking about it again in the coming weeks.
Yeah, thank you for laying out that context. That is important.
All right, Will. We got to take a quick break here. We have a sponsor on the show. So I have done a lot of podcasts, Will, and over the years, I've gotten a couple offers for sponsors before. However, I've never had an offer from a sponsor for a product that I would actually use. That changed when Carlos hit me up and said, "Hey, man, I really love the show. I like what you're doing." And I had this company where I sell CBD products. And so they have like creams, extracts, soft gels, gummies, all kinds of great stuff. Carlos sent me and Will a little like sample package each. I'm really enjoying it. As I mentioned, I've been moving and I would expect to have a lot more soreness than I do right now. So I definitely could say that for reduction in inflammation, stuff like that, back pain, I'm enjoying my CBD products. I really like Carlos and his website, Palamo Verde, because he has things on the homepage like the CBD lab results. So, I've tried CBD products in the past, but, you buy them at like some, random store where they say there's 75 milligrams of CBD in there, but do you really know? With Carlos's products, you absolutely do, because they have the lab results on the website, and you could get a discount on your order at Palamo Verde if you type the code PEACE, PEACE, in as the promo code when you check out. You do have to spend $75 to get that discount, but it's a 25% discount. And any first-time shoppers will get an additional 10% off for 35% off total. Will, I know you've had about a week now to try your CBD. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, like, if people out there had tried CBD before, if you bought it at like a gas station or a head shop or something, and it didn't really do much. Like it really does make the difference to get quality products. Like if you're buying, like you mentioned, you can't trust the dosages and all that kind of stuff. Whereas with this stuff from Paloma Verde, you really, it does make the difference. The quality makes the difference. You know this about me, Kyle, just in terms of my like struggle to sleep at night and to and soft gels have been like really helpful in helping me just to wind down at night. But it's not just for nighttime though. They have all kinds of stuff you can take all throughout the day. They've got fruit gummies you can eat. They got liquid extracts. They have salves and creams that you can rub into sore muscles. All kinds of things for different circumstances and different ailments and issues. So definitely check out their website, palomaverdestore.com. That's a PALOMAVERDE store.com. And like Kyle said, use the promo code PEACE to get 25% off your order.
All right, and let's get back into the show.